No, it's not a case of deja vu. That is not Tampa. That is Charlotte, where the Democratic Party this time is making the final preparations for their convention, which kicks off tonight with a keynote speaker who is a rising star within the party, and quite an interesting situation there. Neil King joining us from Washington to tell us a little bit about this person. His name's Julian Castro, and very much in the camp of the Hispanic world. One that, Neil, your piece today, your front page story, really dug deep into the problems the Republicans have with that particular demographic, and ultimately, in this case, is this what does this particular keynote that we're likely to hear say about that particular issue?
Well, I mean, when I talked to Julian Castro himself, the mayor of San Antonio, I was like, Mr. Mayor, why do you think you've been picked out of relative obscurity in some ways? And he said, well, part of it I think has to do with my youth and the generation I represent. He's 37. But, it's a testament to how much, how seriously Obama takes the Hispanic voter and how much he needs it. And, Julian Castro is just an interesting story in his own right. Came up the twin son of a single Hispanic mother in San Antonio, and then went on to Stanford University, and then went on to get a degree from Harvard Law School, and is now a real up-and-comer within the Democratic Party, and a big favorite of President Obama, who has invited him to the White House like a dozen times so far this term.
Now, I mean, how much of a dynamic speaker is he likely to be, though? I saw some of the quotes in your story today, Jose Villarreal saying that frivolity is not really in Julian's nature. What is is he likely to liven up the crowd and deliver this kind of bump? Because I understand that the Democrat Obama has a bit of an issue there in North Carolina itself in terms of his support in terms of latest polls.
Well, I mean, things have gotten very tight in North Carolina. It was a miracle in some ways that he won it in 2008. I don't think it's anybody's state at the moment,
right,
just because of how close the polls are. And Hispanics, though, there's still a fairly small fraction of the electorate there.
Sorry,
if it's really close, they could.
Just cutting off Neil, so just so we can say here we have a graph right there showing that this is probably the post-convention bounce, and Romney has widened his lead on Obama, but still we're talking about a couple of points. It's not a big gap.
Right. And, it's one of the reasons they're doing a lot of outreach to Hispanics. It's similar. The Republicans did a lot of it on their last day in Tampa. And, of course, they had a lot of Hispanic talent to put forward. Marco Rubio, Susana Martinez, the governor of New Mexico, gave a prominent speech. Julian Castro's speech, I think, is going to be a little bit less flashy than Marco Rubio. He certainly can't compare with Rubio's, charisma and all that. But he'll tell stories about his upbringing and what it says about America. And I think he'll do a lot of testimonials on behalf of Obama, sort of defending Obama policies. And
some people are calling him the Hispanic Obama. Where does that name come from?
Well, I mean, it's funny because it's a term that he rejects, and was saying that he doesn't see himself in Obama's shoes. I think part of it has stemmed from the fact that, as we all remember, Obama really got his rise on the national stage at the 2004 Democratic Convention. He gave a big speech, and that catapulted him from total obscurity to some degree of fame kind of overnight. And I don't know whether that will happen to Julian Castro, but the fact that he's being put forward in a similar capacity now. But even in his time at San Antonio, he's now been mayor there for almost 4 years. He's achieved a certain amount of prominence, and the big question with him is, well, what does his political future hold in a state that's still pretty rough, or will be for some time, for a Democrat to win in a statewide election?
Absolutely, Neil. Thank you very much. Appreciate your time.